Hello and welcome to Rise Unwind. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this. Yes, I also know they're called ships, not boats. I just say boat just to mess with everybody. I'm being a jerk.
You can put a boat on. You can put a boat on a ship. You can't put a ship on a boat.
Exactly. There you go.
I think the most impactful or memorable moment for me was just walking out on stage at the celebration, the initial, reveal of all of the talent, and to see what kind of reaction we got when we walked out on stage was incredibly breathtaking. I've never had that kind of feeling like a rock star.
I gave up. I just was like, that's it. I might as well start planning for my funeral.
All of that and more right here in Rise and Unwind. Do you ever feel like planning a vacation costs more than the actual trip? You're not alone. Road trips are making a huge comeback because people are looking for fun without wiping out their savings. Today, we got Kiersten Saunders with us. She's one half of the duo behind Rich and Regular, and she just took her family on a road trip packed with smart money moves and better than hotel stays. Yes, using timeshares, but in a way that actually makes sense. Welcome to the show, Kiersten. How are you, my friend?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with this trip. Where'd you go? Who was packed in the car with you? And what made you decide on a road trip this year?
I feel like nothing says summer like a road trip. I grew up taking road trips, and so it was an experience we wanted to give our son, who is 8. So me, my husband, and my son packed up the car, and we actually started just down the street. We started 25 minutes from our house in downtown Atlanta at Margaritaville Vacation Club, which is this great resort downtown. They've got a rooftop pool. And even though we were like down the street from the house, it was very much giving somewhere else energy, which put us in the right state of mind to get in the car and continue. So we left there, went 8 hours down past Orlando to River Ranch. We stayed at Westgate River Ranch Resort, and we did some glamping. We stayed in a covered wagon and got to ride horses. My son fed goats. We roasted marshmallows. I mean, it was the perfect way to reset after all that time in the car and just connect with nature and each other. And then from there, we went down a couple more hours to West Palm Beach and stayed at the Marriott Ocean Point, which is this oceanfront property with pools that overlook the ocean. And, we had breakfast and listened to the waves and had lunch outside. It was the best way to reset before getting back in the car and heading home.
And when you're planning something like this, where do you save real money before you even hit the road?
I think that it starts with the preparation. So we actually used a road trip app, which is called Roadtrippers, which helped us plan our route and decide where we wanted to stop. And we used it to find restaurants and other places to stretch our legs. And then the other thing was that we really focused on accommodations. The last thing you want is to get out of a cramped car and then go into a cramped hotel room. And so that for us made timeshares the obvious choice. I think a lot of people think that you have to own a timeshare in order to enjoy one, and you don't. You can just rent one like we did for the week or for a couple days and still take advantage of all the amenities. And the benefit there is that you don't have to spend as much money as you would if you had to leave the hotel for every single thing. There's a full kitchen, so you can cook if you want to, or you can save leftovers if you do decide to eat. There are separate bedrooms, so a lot of units have 2 and 3 bedrooms, so if you want space and privacy, you can get that without having to rent or book 2 or 3 rooms. There are lots of activities on site, so you don't have to leave to find something to do, which can be helpful if you have small children or just, busybody relatives that want to get out. All of that is right there on the property, and it saved us a ton of time and money.
Like, how do you get in on the timeshare circuit? Because this sounds like a great idea. I just wouldn't know where to start.
That's a great question. So there's a website called gotimesharing.com that is full of resources to help you find one of the over 1,500 timeshare resorts in the U.S. They're everywhere. They're in the popular places. They're down the street from your house. Anywhere you want to go, there's probably going to be a timeshare resort that meets your needs. And the best part there is that it's predictable, right? So you don't have to worry about getting catfished like you would using some other third-party short-term rental site. These properties are managed by well-known hospitality companies like Marriott, Hilton, Westgate, and so there is a standard for service. There is a standard that meets your expectation and a history of actually providing service and giving you what you need.
All right, one more time, where can we go for more information and maybe find these timeshares?
Yeah, the website is gotimesharing.com, and there you can find all of the resources you need to plan a road trip just like the one we took.
Kiersten, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
If you're planning a cruise out of Tampa or anywhere along the Gulf this summer, don't forget to pack your signal. Once you leave the shore, staying connected gets a little trickier, but luckily, the folks at Wireless Maritime Services knows exactly how to help us out. Joining us is Pramod Arora, CEO of WMS, to share some easy tips to keep your phone and your sanity working while you're out at sea. Welcome to the show, Pramod. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Dan.
All right. What's the number one thing cruise travelers forget when packing, besides the sunscreen?
I would say it's connectivity. There's a tendency for people to either forget or get confused about options to stay connected while on the cruise ship. So I would highly suggest that people plan ahead and figure out their connectivity needs and find the right solution before they get on a cruise ship. And the good news is you don't have to wait. You can do this today, even if your cruise is not for the next 12 months.
And can you break down your top 3 tips for staying connected while being on board?
Absolutely. So the first one, as I said, would be plan ahead. Don't wait until the day of the cruise. And the good news is you can do it today. And there are options that you can buy today and add to your lines. And you don't have to worry about getting charged until you get on the cruise ship. So a lot of options, good options through your carriers, like a cruise day pass. You can also buy Wi-Fi if that's what works for you. The second tip I would have is figure out what the right solution is. Is it cellular? Is it Wi-Fi? What kind of packages? So people have different connectivity needs. I'll take my family as an example. When we go on a cruise, my needs are emails, messages, ability to take calls, make calls, maybe some browsing, some apps like banking and others. And for that, a cruise day pass from my carrier works just fine for me. It's a great product for me. But my kids, they have very heavy data needs. They want to watch movies all day long. They want to stay on social media, which are also today very video centric. So for them, a cruise line Wi-Fi option might be best. So we have a great website, cellularatc.com. You can go in there. Within 2 to 3 minutes, you'll know exactly what you need, and it'll just take you to that destination to buy that product. And like I said, you're not going to be charged until you're on that cruise ship. And the last one is when you're on the ship, make sure your phone is not in airplane mode. That's a misconception that you have to do that. You need to do that on the plane, but not on a cruise ship. So make sure it's off so you can use Wi-Fi when you want to, and then turn that off and use cellular when you want to.
All right, that's why phones don't have a boat mode for a reason. So why? Come on, man! I'm trying with the jokes this morning. It's not working. So why does so much data really matter here?
That because our lives are so data centric, everything is data. People hardly make calls anymore. I mean, I do, but I'm kind of old. But that's what decides what the right solution for you or your family might be. I use my family as an example. If you are a heavy data user, you might be better off with a cruise line Wi-Fi. But if you're a sporadic user, moderate user like me, a cellular day pass like from AT&T and Verizon is a great option for you. It's seamless, it's predictable, and it's very, very affordable.
Can you tell me about those day passes Verizon AT&T customers get?
Absolutely. So, if you're an AT&T subscriber, you know probably about the international day pass today, which is $12 a day, and you can use your phone in 200 plus countries. Now, for $8 more, so $20 in all, you can take that connectivity on a cruise ship. I think it's the greatest value for money for cruise ship roaming in the world today. Verizon is similar. For $20 additional per day, you can use your phone on a cruise ship, just as you do at home and at work. So those two are great options for people to use. And I highly suggest checking those out before you get on a ship. And it's very easy to buy. You can go to att.com/cruise or verizon.com/cruise, very easy. Or, like I said, go to cellularatc.com. And if that's the right product for you, it'll take you to those websites to buy the product.
Pramod, one more time, where can we go for more information?
The first step, I would highly suggest cellularatc.com. You always have the option to go to your carrier's website But if you're confused or looking for directions, cellularetsy.com.
All right, thanks for that. And yes, I also know they're called ships, not boats. I just say boat just to mess with everybody. I'm being a jerk.
You can put a boat on. You can put a boat on a ship. You can't put a ship on a boat.
Exactly. There you go. Pramod, thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Thank you.
We know music can move you, but for Grammy-nominated duo The War and Treaty, it's also about staying healthy enough to take the stage. Michael and Tanya Trotter are opening up about how they're managing type 2 diabetes while using their platform to raise awareness, especially in the Black community. They're joined by Dr. Craig Weirham, a board-certified endocrinologist, to talk. I'm bad at these medical words. Endocrinologist, to talk about what it takes to manage his condition day to day. Welcome, all three of you. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let's start with your story, Michael. How did you first learn you had type 2 diabetes, and what changed for you?
2011, I got diagnosed. I wasn't prioritizing my health. I was eating trash food, and this was the end result. Diabetes came into my life, and my family and I, we are very well aware of diabetes and what it can do to damage and essentially kill. And I gave up. I just was like, that's it. I might as well start planning for my funeral. But then Ozempic was introduced into my life, and it became the game changer for me. I was able to start my diabetes journey properly. I was able to lower my A1C from double digits to a single digit number. I changed my diet, changed the way I was looking at my diet and looking at the foods. And then I started moving a little bit more, working out a little bit more. And with all three of those things clicking, I was also able to see my own weight loss. So I'm just excited to be able to share my story with as many people as I can.
And Tanya, you got to tell me what it's like. You guys are on tour, probably going from bar to bar. The food isn't the best in the world, probably deep fried stuff. Tastes great. But like, how do you go about supporting a partner through a diagnosis like this while trying to perform and tour and all that?
Oh, wow. It's a lot of prioritizing, a lot of planning that goes in place. We have to do that, and that's just a part of it. The same way that we plan the songs and rehearsals and learning all those things, it's a part. None of that could happen if we don't prioritize our health. And we're not like, runway models and super skinny or, athletes. But I think we represent the common person, the person that may want to slide past a place and get, a donut or something like that. So I'm not saying that we're perfect, but what we do is we plan. We make sure that we have the right snacks, that our environment, our community, because it does take a community to live this lifestyle, So we have a lifestyle that we all, on our bus, our team, we all put together and we do. And that's what we do.
And you're both advocates now. What message are you hoping to get across through this campaign?
I think the largest part for us is to let everybody know they're not alone, that it's very vulnerable for you to talk about your health and what's not working and you losing weight. All these things are very sensitive and it's very personal. Yeah. So because we have this platform as artists, we talk about this and we talk about Michael's journey with diabetes and my support with him because it's important for people to see that we're just like they are. We have struggles just like they do, and we have very busy lives. So we're taking away some of the excuses. Yes, we're busy, but we prioritize, we plan, we make sure we have the snacks on the road, and maybe people can see if we're doing it, they can do it as well.
Dr. Weir, what are some of the key parts of a strong type 2 diabetes management plan?
Well, we don't have a cure for diabetes right now, but we have come a long way. And most of our country suffers from type 2 diabetes rather than type 1. It's actually 38 million people now with that diagnosis. And obviously diet, which has been described here by Tanya, and exercise, and they're a great example of that on stage. Medications, certainly when you're meeting with physicians and other healthcare professionals, they're going to discuss that option. For Michael, what has worked for him was Ozempic. Each person is a little bit different. That's a medication for type 2 diabetes, and it's been well proven to lower blood sugar, but it does come with some potential side effects, mostly gastrointestinal in nature. However, there have been a rare type of thyroid cancer seen in rodents That has not been seen in the human trials, which is very encouraging. But patients who have more concerns can certainly talk to their primary care doctor or go to www.ozempic.com and learn more information.
I want to thank you three for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Do you ever feel like running a small business these days is all hustle and no cushion? Well, it turns out most owners are still optimistic, even after one of the toughest years yet. A new Capital One study says 9 out of 10 small business owners feel confident about what's next. So how are they doing it? Today, we got Sheena Ashley, who leads the Capital One Insight Center, and Justin Richardson, CEO of Pacific Transformer, to break down what's working, plus how digital tools and credit card rewards are helping owners stay afloat and move forward. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Hi, thanks so much, Dan.
All right.
Hey, Dan.
Your new research highlights how small business owners are bouncing back. What stood out to you most in these findings?
Yeah, as you said, Dan, I think we were surprised to see through this survey, which was our latest of small business owners, that small business owners are feeling optimistic about their ability to grow their businesses. And many of them are turning to digital tools as the resource of choice to help them to navigate these uncertain times.
A lot of owners are leaning on tech to stay nimble. What tools are proving to be the most helpful right now?
Yeah, Dan, there are so many digital tools that are out there for small business owners to access. And we found in our study that business owners who are very busy are choosing just a small handful of those tools in order to be able to navigate. They're increasingly turning to things like mobile banking apps, their business credit cards, and accounting software as the tools that they're using. I can bring Justin in to share a little bit more about how he's using some of those digital tools to help his business succeed.
I appreciate that, Sheena. You're exactly right. We're lucky enough to have been able to double the size of our business over the last 3 or 4 years. And I don't have an accounting staff. It's basically myself, Janice, and my mom, who comes in 2 days a week. And so we heavily rely on digital tools simply just to get the number of transactions we need to get done out the door. Because if we didn't have those digital tools like an ERP accounting system, business credit cards, mobile banking app, there's no way we would be able to keep up. So yeah, absolutely, extremely crucial.
Let's talk about those credit card rewards. Are business owners using them as a strategy to grow or reinvest?
Yeah, as you know, business credit cards increasingly now are coming with these options of rewards. And we see this as being an important way in which business owners are gaining greater financial flexibility and managing their cash flow, using their credit cards, and then having sort of that extra revenue that's coming from the rewards to create a buffer for some of the things that they need to do, like pay vendors or engage in some of the transactions that are ongoing. But also we're seeing them doing things like supporting their employees and investing back into their business.
And do you have any real world examples of a business using rewards in a creative or smart way?
Yeah, Justin's the best one to speak to that as our real world entrepreneur here.
Yeah, no, we're lucky. We've been around for 45 years. So we have people here, 20, 30. We have 2 gentlemen who are celebrating their 40th anniversary with us. So we've really developed over the years a family culture. So what we do with those cashback rewards is we reinvest them back into our employees. And it could be something as simple as just paying for a Mother's Day brunch for the office, or something more significant if a colleague has some unexpected health issues, or we've even paid for funeral services for relatives. It's little things like that that really reinforce the family culture that we've cultivated over the years. And we couldn't do it without the cashback rewards.
And for any business owners tuning in, what's the smartest mindset that comes to using those rewards?
I think business owners, and I would encourage any business owner out there to really think about your reward as another tool that could really help your business to grow. And so using it to do things that, like Justin, to invest back into that business, to build a culture, and to recognize those employees who are there toiling day in and day out to help that business succeed. It's a great way to reward the business and to reward yourself.
And finally, where can people go read this full survey and learn more about it?
That's right. You can look up the Capital One Insight Center on your favorite search engine, but also visit us at CapitalOne.com, where you'll search for the Insight Center, find this study and many others that we think will be also very insightful.
Thank you, too, for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
So what happens when you load a cruise ship with Christmas superfans, a few Hallmark heartthrobs, and more fake snow than the Bahamas has ever seen? You get Christmas at Sea, a brand new docuseries that set sail during Hallmark's 13th annual Christmas in July celebration. You know, this 4-part series follows real-life fans living out their holiday dreams on the first ever Hallmark Christmas cruise, complete with karaoke, surprise proposals, ATV rides, and maybe a little matchmaking made on the 7 seas. Joining us today are 3 of the stars helping to make all that happen. Taylor Cole, Andrew Walker, and Wes Brown. Welcome to the show, you 3. How are you?
Great. How are you? How are you? Thanks for having
I'm
us.
doing okay. I'm not stuck out at sea. It's not Christmas time. All right. I guess you guys are doing better than me. You've all starred in plenty of Hallmark Christmas movies, but this time you're on a real-life cruise with real-life super fans. What made Christmas at Sea feel a little different?
This was a fan interaction that we have never got to experience. The level of connection and emotion and genuine storytelling and sharing with each other was unlike anything we've ever experienced. So to get the chance to document it was awesome. And I'm just glad that we got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And there's some really personal moments in the series, like a surprise proposal. I don't want to give it all away. Maybe a script pitch or two, a couple of grandmas celebrating their grandson. Was there any particular story that stuck with you?
Well, I think the people going through some health issues, obviously, because that's pretty extreme. It's life or death, and they've come out on the other end. And I think that and it's made them want to do something momentous in their life. Make a decision that they've always wanted to do, but they never really thought was the right time. And so I think some of those stories, and there was a few within the 5 storylines, those were the ones that really impacted me, I think, the most. Yeah.
And we hear there was a Finding Mr. Shipmas competition and pretty much a full-on Christmas tree lighting ceremony. What were the most memorable cruise events to let's just say, for each of you?
I mean, this is for sure by far the most memorable cruise I've ever taken in my life. And I think the most impactful or memorable moment for me was just walking out on stage at the celebration, the initial reveal of all of the talent, and to see what kind of reaction we got when we walked out on stage was incredibly breathtaking. I've never had that kind of feeling like a rock star. I felt like
So much joy, so much love. It was overwhelming. It really was beautiful.
For me, it's towards the end of the cruise. We worked with a lot of talented actors. Here are 2 of them right there, but we had a part where we did a complete ad lib where we had one of our writers write about a 7-page, it was almost like a poem, and I got to read it, and then our actors got to act it out in front of a huge live audience. And that was just, I barely got through it because I was trying to watch them do their thing. But there was so much stuff. And that's just one of them. That's just one of many. And I think the fans just absolutely loved it.
Andrew, you and Paul helped someone plan a proposal at sea. How did you guys manage to hold together with all those emotions and everything else going around?
Well, that was one of the storylines that I was talking about. She'd gone through a major surgery and came out on the other end. So it was, it was so, we were so vulnerable. It was such a vulnerable moment for all of us. And I think that's the beauty of a lot of these storylines, is that you're seeing real, genuine emotion. This isn't scripted. This is happening in the moment. And I think that we were caught off guard with how emotional it made us feel and tap into, things that we haven't felt in a long time. So to feel that empathy, for what these people have gone through, and to support them along the way, and to maybe fulfill a dream that they've had or something they've always wanted to do, they just didn't have the right forum to do it in, was incredibly rewarding and humbling.
And Hallmark fans are really a loyal group. My mom is one of them. And this docuseries kind of shows the connection between stars and their audience. And what did it mean to kind of celebrate that bond, especially in such an over-the-top, maybe silly, joyful way?
I mean, when you watch a Christmas Hallmark movie, it brings all of the feelings, all of the love, all of the joy. And really, they're not just watching the Hallmark movies, they live them. So you feel it in person. So it's beautiful.
All right, thank you, 30, for joining me this morning. Don't miss Christmas at Sea. It's a 4-part docuseries that's coming into your home this summer. It premieres July 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern on Hallmark Channel, and it streams the next day on Hallmark Plus. Perfect for anyone who thinks Christmas could happen or should happen more than once a year. Hey, thank you, 3, for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Have a great day.
The greatest job in the world must be what our next guests have. Just imagine traveling to any city in the world, sitting down, finding food, finding cultures, and just hanging out with some good people. And that's what, the chef of love, Mr. Jernard Wells, does for a living. So let's chat with this cat right now. Hey, Chef Jernard, how are you, my friend?
I am feeling good. I want to tell you, I love that paisley shirt. You're rocking it.
Thank you. I think this is the only shirt, the second shirt that I own. So thank you. That is it. Oh, you have the ultimate job. You travel from city to city. You talk to people that you love. You eat the foods that you love. You do things that you love. No wonder why they call you the chef of love. But come on, man. Tell us about the new show, Savor the City.
Yes, Savor the City is my way of sharing love with the world. Now, I said, no more waiting until people are gone to give them their flowers. I said, let's give them their flowers now while they're still here and they can smell them and know how great they are to us, what they mean to the culture. And I think it's so important that others learn and see what amazing gems that we have right at our back doors sometime, at our front doors, the local bakery, the local restaurant, the mom and pop. Let's go and sow into them some of the best food, the history, the culture, the travel. And I'm using the dinner plate to connect us because food is what ultimately connects us all.
And when you're traveling, is there anything that really surprised you? Like maybe some ingredient, maybe something that you realized in a culture that you just didn't get used to or just learned along your travels?
One of the biggest things that surprised me out of all things, I was eating at an amazing restaurant, and this particular restaurant served me shark. It was my first time experiencing shark, and seeing that shark actually tastes like pork chops. Most people say, "Oh, all these different dishes, what it tastes like chicken." No, the shark actually tastes like a sweet, juicy pork chop, which was really amazing, but surprised me because at first I was like, I don't know if I want to venture here. But this is the thing. I want to bring the best to my people. If you're afraid to try it, if you're afraid to travel there, you hadn't experienced it yet, let me be your personal tour guide. I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to share what the food tastes like, give you play-by-play experiences, as well as take you on a journey that you wouldn't get no other way other than joining me on Savor the City.
Chef Jernard, we have you on our show all the time, and we want to say congratulations on your big show. Right. Check out Chef Jernard Wells every Thursday night on TV1 for Savor the City at 8 p.m. 7 Central. Thanks again, man, for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
That's it for Rise Unwind. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. Follow us on YouTube at Rise Unwind TV. And until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.